if you order broth this week, I'm sorry, and it will be with you next week. Good morning, broth people. This week did not go to plan, sadly, and usually I would have done a nice little packaging up video and posted it with a little roundup of the week, but sadly it's just not meant to be this week, and I lost all of the broth, about 37 litres in the end, and I went in the kitchen on Sunday to test it overnight to see if it would keep the temperature nice and steady. And it did. It was kept at perfect temperature at what I set it. And then on Tuesday, I put on a batch and left it on overnight. Came back Wednesday, started bottling it all up around lunchtime. So it had a really nice, long, slow cook. And you can kind of tell when you're bottling it up what it's going to be like, but not really, because sometimes I've bottled it up and it looks a bit thin in the bottle, but then by the time it's chilled, it gets really thick. So you don't really know, but I could kind of tell that it was a bit watery compared to normal. And then I put all the bottles in the blast chiller, and then the council came to do my hygiene inspection, which is all passed, all lovely. I will be getting 5 stars, so that's all good. And halfway through the inspection, I looked inside the blast chiller, tipped the bottle upside down as I do to see what the thickness is like, and just saw that it was complete water, and my heart sank. But obviously I couldn't do anything about it then because I was halfway through an inspection, and then by the time that had finished, I didn't have time to put on another batch, and I can't get in the kitchen on Thursday and Fridays because it's a shared kitchen. So the farm shop used the kitchen on a Thursday and Friday. So yeah, it's just not meant to be. And I also vowed to myself that I would never send broth again on on a Thursday because the posting is just awful. I mean, if I could have got into the kitchen, then I could have done broth up for the farm shops and the market as well. But yeah, it's just not meant to be this week. And I feel like people are quite understanding. And this is the difference between buying from me on my own, making completely fresh broth by hand each week, compared to getting it in, say, a factory churned out broth, um, where they're set up for that kind of scale, and they've gone through all these little teething problems that I'm going through to figure out where I need to be, what I need to get. So it's all part of the process. But I am really sorry if you didn't get broth this week. I just nipped into Isville Farm Shop to get a nice Sutton Hoo chicken to do a recipe up this weekend, and apparently someone went in there to get broth yesterday. So if that was you, I'm very sorry, and we will be back next week. I'm picking up some really nice bones from Barkham on Monday, so hopefully, well, I mean, it's always a good batch, but sometimes they're extra special, so we'll see. And the fix for overnight cooking is basically to have the temperature up higher. So I've gone from one scenario where the brat pan was boiling up to like 200 degrees, and now it was sat at around 70 degrees, but really it needs to be sat somewhere around 80-85 degrees. And then that all the heat then will kick into the bones, extract all the goodness out, and make a really nice thick broth. So I think it's a simple fix. So yeah, I would usually end saying, if you have broth this week, enjoy. But if you order broth this week, I'm sorry, and it will be with you next week.